let's talk about White Boy Summer, because I find this to be a very, very interesting social phenomenon, assuming that it's not just a marketing attempt and that there is something behind it. I find it very interesting, and I think there is something behind it. I think there is something worth talking about here. So the question, I guess, is, well, what's White Boy Summer? And this has its origins in Tom Hanks' son, Chet Hanks, posting a video to his social media feeds where he just says, well, it kind of feels like it's going to be a White Boy Summer.
Hey guys, look, I just wanted to tap in really quick. I just got this feeling, man, that this summer is, it's about to be a white boy summer. You know, take it how you want. I'm not talking about like Trump, NASCAR type white. I'm talking about, me, John B., Jack Harlow type white boy summer. You know what I mean? Let me know if you guys can vibe with that, and get ready.
I find this interesting because usually the term white boy is a kind of put down or a phrase that is used to put someone in their place, especially by the black community in America, it seems. And what Chet's doing is kind of infusing it with a new meaning. As he lays it out, it's time for the white boys to evolve.
I just want to drop a few rules and regs for the white boy summer. Okay, bottom line here, gentlemen, is it's time for us to evolve. Okay, period. It's time for us to, grow from a Pikachu to a Raichu. You dig. You know what I mean? Church.
I find it really interesting that he sets down the standards for the white boys, a certain kind of aesthetic character that they're supposed to adhere to. They're not supposed to wear certain clothes or behave in a certain way. And I think that's really interesting and useful as a kind of form of social guidance. Now, of course, this became laden in irony the very second it hit the internet, because of the nature of the internet, with various Facebook groups and Twitter tags hosting user submissions like this, or like this, or like this. But underneath the ironic facade is a certain kind of sincerity. It is time for these white boys to grow up, to go out into the world and be unapologetically themselves. So why is this happening? Well, I think it's because white men have been locked out of identity politics, specifically progressive identity politics, which pathologizes straight white men as oppressors. White male identity is purely bad, and that's the end of the conversation. But they aren't purely bad, are they? They're actually pretty good, it seems. Mostly law-abiding, seem to be polite. They've got certain ethical standards that you expect from them and certain sort of cultural behaviors that you expect from them. And I think this is because a man's behavior has long been primarily defined, as the factor in his level of achievement. Because men don't give anything to other men if they're not competent. And competence is something that can be developed. It indicates a certain kind of character. But now even that is under attack in the modern world. So not only are the white boys prohibited from arguing from their status as white males, but that identity itself is constantly under attack by academics, the media, left-wing political parties, etc., etc., etc. So how can a white boy gain social status? Well, it seems there's only one avenue left to them, and that is through virtue, which is an undeniable and intrinsic characteristic of them, however, not necessarily a permanent one. But it is self-evident, and it doesn't need explanation, and it does not need justification. Hence why right-wing memes are so laconic, whereas left-wing memes are theoretical blocks of text. Virtue is the product of behavior. Virtue is our character strengths, and our vices are our character defects. Our virtues are the things that serve our interests well, even if they're painful, and our vices are those things that hurt us, even if we enjoy them. Virtues require denial. Vices are indulgences. For example, to have large muscles, one must voluntarily engage in repetitive, strenuous activity, even though you have all of the indication from your own body that it would be easy to just stop and go home. But then you don't get the results, do you? This speaks to the certain kind of character of a person who is happy to persist even at the cost of their own discomfort, whereas by comparison, you could have the fat acceptance movement, which demands respect for obesity. To be obese, one must fail to resist one's base desires. Eating a lot of cake is a vice. It's not good for you, and it shows that you are not spending any time working upon yourself. And what's worse is you're not just asking, you're demanding to be respected for indulging in a vice. That's unacceptable, because both virtue and vice interact with reality. If you were to be attacked on the street, which one of these people would you want to come to your assistance? You know, and I know you know, that only one of these people is going to be of any particular help. So in this context, I think white doesn't just mean skin color. I think it's referring also to the ethical systems of the English culture of the United States. The term white is referring both to skin color and culture, because the culture is in some ways mapped on to the skin color, but it's not exclusive to it, which is why you have black people who are accused of upholding whiteness and white people who try to become black. Whiteness and blackness are thick concepts that map onto the individuals using skin color as a marker, but aren't exclusively so. They also contain greater meaning than just skin color, and it's a reference to behavior. So when someone sees a clean-cut white guy, they also come to expect a certain kind of moral behavior from them, and this is just a natural product of stereotyping. It's inevitable, and it's unavoidable, and when this stereotyping goes the other way, it's determined by left-wing activists to be a form of prejudice. It seems to the term white boy summer seems to have become synonymous with white men from the 80s and 90s looking kind of confident. Chads doing Chad things, unapologetic in what they are, letting their virtues shine through without comment. The implication in each picture is that the person who sees the picture can just deal with it. Each image is the culmination of the habit of hard work. You don't get to look like this without it. For some things, there are no shortcuts. Of course, this becomes increasingly ironic as time goes by, but the underlying ethos is there, and I think that's why it resonated. Now, I can't speak for Chet, because it seems to me that he's following his own path, but it also seems that white men kind of work really hard, which sounds like I shouldn't be able to say that, right? But contrary to popular belief, nobody gives a white man anything for free. He toils for everything he has, and if someone's toiled for something that they have, I would say that they deserve it. If he works hard at something, then that's respectable, because there are no affirmative action programs in favor of white men, and the progressive critique of affirmative action is that it privileges white women the most. Every demographic is chosen over white men. Things are taken from them or refused to them because they are white men. But virtue is a thing which cannot be denied and cannot be redistributed. This is something that they possess of their own. It's not exclusive to them, but white men have been conditioned to exhibit virtue, and they are, or they should be, justly able to celebrate it, even if it's in the most low-key and unintrusive way. And that's what I think White Boy Summer is about.